Charlie can start.
Okay, so welcome everybody to the first of the webinar series that we have been doing since 2015, and first of the webinar series for 2018 now. It's a real pleasure to be hosting the first one this time. Today we will be talking about integrating climate change issues into local policies and the experiences from Thailand and Bangladesh. So on behalf of TurboClick, I welcome all of you. You already know that TurboClick is a cross-sectoral group, and we are working on the topics of inclusive cities, urban governance, building resilience, low carbon development, and capacity development methodologies, among others. The webinar series aims at exchanging experiences and good practices among our members, as well as other interested colleagues. For the experience sharing today with Thailand and Bangladesh, there's a strong recognition of the importance in aligning the efforts of all national and sub-national governance levels, municipal, regions, districts, provinces, in order to achieve an effective implementation of climate actions, especially for mitigation as well as adaptation. National climate policies need to strongly include subnational levels with concrete implementation measures and provide financial and capacity development frameworks. In Asia, there are several ambitious climate initiatives of subnational level, especially local government. But still, a systematic vertical integration is a challenging process. There are also cases, and in some cases it is necessary to first start mainstreaming climate change issues into the existing plans and processes. Some of the available good practices and examples of climate policy design and implementation from Bangladesh and Thailand will be presented and discussed today, focusing on the overall approaches, lessons learned, challenges, and opportunities. So to start with the program today, the first presentation will be Ms. Chutima Jongpangdi. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. And this will be on vertical integration of national climate change policy experiences from Thailand. Ms. Chutima Jongpangdi is project manager of support to the development and implementation of the Thai climate change policy project. She has an educational background in environmental sanitation from Mahidol University, Thailand, and has joined GIZ in December 2005. Since 2009, she has been working for the Climate Change Policy Implementation Project. Her responsibility is mainly focused on the implementation of national climate change policy into sub-national level. She is also responsible for the implementation of global project on water and wastewater companies for climate change mitigation. The second presentation that will be held will be by Ms. Mohammad Ishtiaq Hussain. It was initially planned with 2 presenters, but one of the presenters will not be there. This will be on integration of the national plan and the local development plan with focus on climate change, experiences and lessons learned from Bangladesh. Mr. Mohammad Ishtiaq Hussain has been working in GIZ Bangladesh since 2011. Presently, he is involved in adaptation to climate change into the national and local development planning project of GIZ. He is an urban planner by education. Since last 14 years, he has been working in urban development, planning and climate change sectors in Bangladesh. So with this few words of welcome, I would request Chutima to now take over and start presenting.
Thank you very much, Charlie, and hello everyone.
I'm glad to be part of the first TurboClick webinar in 2018 to share you on the vertical integration of national climate change policy experiences from Thailand. In fact, GISA's project on climate change in Thailand has started since 2008, mainly supported on the development of national climate change policy. In 2012, the further climate change policy focused on implementation of national climate change policy into subnational. So get back into my presentation. I will talk in main three topics. The first one is about implementation of climate change aspect into subnational level. And the second one, the training on climate change action plan development. And the third one is about challenges and next steps.
Just one thing, Chutima, you might want to take over as presenter.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's start from the first topic on implementation of climate change aspect into subnational level. As mentioned earlier, that the objective is to implement climate change policy into subnational level. In this case, climate change policy is climate change master plan, which Thailand has developed. And we selected provincial and municipal level as subnational. We had to identify entry point, which the approach tried not to create the new work for province and municipality. Since every province and municipality has to develop their own development plan every 4 years to drive them on their development direction and implementation. So we foresee this as entry point. So the work is framed to focus on integration of climate change aspect into development planning. In order to develop provincial or municipal development plan, it needs to involve with matters such as agriculture, environment, energy, water, for example. In this connection, to develop development plan, provinces or municipalities set which members are from agriculture, environment, energy, water, and all relevant sectors in their areas. So the idea of project implementation is to build capability of the 17 pilot provinces and 32 pilot municipalities on the development planning process by integrating climate change aspects from climate change master plan. The final product are their climate change action plan, which ready to be taken into their development planning. And this slide shows our pilot area. We selected 17 pilot provinces countrywide. In addition, in each province, we selected another 2 municipalities to work with. In conclusion, we work with 17 provinces and 32 municipalities. In order to be able to develop climate change action plan, we consider both climate change aspect and development planning. In terms of climate change, they need to know what is climate change. Climate change impact, which might influence to their development direction. Climate change elements, such as water, agriculture, transport, energy, etc. And climate change policy in Thailand, what is it about? In terms of development planning, they need to know what is development planning and its element, how development plan is important. To build a capability of pilot areas to be able to integrate climate change aspect into development planning, training is needed. The training covers 9 steps of climate change action plan development. So the first one is climate change introduction, and then understanding of climate change master plan, and then they have also to consider social economic development, sustainable development, and climate change issue prioritization in province and municipality. and data analysis, stakeholder analysis, action development, source of fund, monitoring and evaluation, and the last topic, integration into development planning. So let's go to the second topic of my presentation on training on climate change action plan development. In order to develop training module, there are some factors to be considered. From the training content, we have also to think about the technical context and learning process, because not only technical context will be introduced, the learning process is also key importance, because after the training, we want to ensure that all participants can take some learning process to be integrated in their other certain aspects. We have also to consider key stakeholders, in which this case we work with 3 levels. We work with 16 region office, 17 provinces, and 32 municipalities. So let's say like we work 3 levels, like regional, provincial, and municipal level. We also have to consider on the training time. We have set like 2-year training. And after that, we come up with some training module. From the 9 steps of the climate change action plan development, we broke into 5 training. And from the slide you see in between each training, we have also provided assisting session between each training. So what they have to do in the assisting session, first of all, they have to set up working group, because when we invite representatives from the pilot areas to join the training, we only selected some representatives. But in fact, when they come back to their province or municipality, only 2 or 3 participants from the training cannot develop the overall climate change action plan. They need to work holistically. They need to get back into province and set up working group, in which the working group can be the group from the existing working group, such as the working group on their development planning. And after that, they have to come up with the working group meeting, because the representative who join the training have to deliver the knowledge that they have been trained to the working group, so that to ensure that they are on the same page. And after that, they have to do some homework. In every training, at the end, we give them some homework. And after that, they prepare for the next training. And from the project, we also support them in the session. The project staff and the project experts travel to the province and municipality to join their working group meeting and to support them in any case that they want. This slide shows the content of climate change master plan that we take as the Bible to be integrated into their development planning. The climate change master plan in Thailand, we have 6 adaptation sectors, 8 mitigation sectors, and 4 capacity building areas. So this slide shows results of 7 pilot municipalities in the north Thailand. The main priority sectors on climate change, water management, agriculture, and human settlement. This slide shows results of 5 pilot provinces and 9 municipalities in the eastern region of Thailand. So the main priority are industry, energy consumption, power generation, and human settlement. This slide also shows the results from 4 pilot provinces. In the northern priority are forest, agriculture, water management, and power. This is the last one. The last slide shows the results from provinces and 6 pilot. southern region. The main priority sector are natural resources, human settlement, water management, and tourism. I give you one example in Krabi province. This slide shows relation of priority sectors within the province. I took Krabi province as example. I hope that some of you may know Krabi province. Krabi is located in the south of Thailand, the very popular tourism destination for beaching. The priority sectors for Krabi province are, of course, tourism, natural resources management, and energy efficiency in building. What are priority sectors in two other areas? In Nong Thale sub-district, human settlement and tourism sector are their climate change priorities. In this case, you see tourism sector appear to both provincial level and municipal level. However, in the Krabi City municipality, tourism was not top priority, but rather on waste management and urban management. And the last topic of my presentation is about challenges and next steps. Experiences from the work in 17 provinces and 32 municipalities, we faced some challenges. First is about multi-stakeholder. The project has to involve with multi-stakeholder, particularly to their capacity building and awareness raising. As I mentioned before, that we have to work like with regional level, provincial level, and municipal level. We have to ensure that they all are on the same page. They have the right understanding, and they will be able to transfer the knowledge into their areas. Second is about quality and quantity. These are another challenges. To work with almost 60 areas in the same time, we also need quality in terms of climate change action plan development. So not only to provide the training, but we have to provide follow-up session to ensure their capability to develop the action plan. So we have to put a lot of effort. And the third one, long-term training, because we set up like the 2-year training for them. So we try to have the same participant joining all 5 training modules. However, sometimes it doesn't work. And next is about new approach of development planning process. So in the beginning, when we provide the training, we found some challenges that is new for me. It's new for them that, okay, they have to learn the new process, but for the second and the third, they get familiar with our approach and they see the importance of the approach, so it's getting better creation. Yeah. My last slide is about the next steps. We plan to have the follow-up with 17 provinces and 32 municipalities. After they have drafted their action plan, after they have developed their program and project this year and next year, we try to follow up like how progress they are. And also, we also want to develop mechanism to support the implementation of subnational climate change action plan. We got the feedback from the training that, okay, they can develop the project, they can develop the program that related to climate change, but without money, they cannot do anything. So we try to develop some mechanism to support them in terms of financing. And the last topic is about the continue working with another 60 provinces, mainly focus on capacity building in provincial level. This activity we plan, actually in Thailand we have 77 provinces, but from the previous policy project we work already 17 provinces. So this year we got the new policy project for another 3 years. So we talked to our partner that we want to expand countrywide. So we have to work with another 60 provinces in Thailand. Yeah, this is all of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chutima. This is really fantastic what you presented, and very, very overwhelming with now going up to 60 provinces, and you actually managed to keep some of your participants over 2 years of the training. It really sounds amazing. But without more words, I would like to now pass over to the next presenter. Mr. Hussain, if you can take over as presenter and tell us about the integration of national plan and local development plan with focus on climate change and your experiences in Bangladesh.
Thank you, Vaishali. Thank you, Chutima, for your nice presentation. And thank you all for giving me a chance to present my topic in this first webinar of this year. Just wait. Yeah. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, what I am going to present, it is kind of part of one of the project that I am working with, and another project that is Mr. Hamidul Islam is working with. And our title of this presentation is like that. We make it like this way: that integration of the national plan and the local development plan, especially focus on the climate change and what we have experienced and lessons from Bangladesh case. Actually, this content, we are at the middle of our project. The result is not so far achieved yet, but what we have achieved, but what we have experienced, I am going to show in my next slides. First of all, the presentation of my structure of my presentation is like that. I will give you a conceptual framework for the national and local planning that will lead to discuss for our next slides. And another one, I will give you what is our planning system at the national level and how it is linked with our local level, and also the local government structure of Bangladesh, which is a bit complicated. And also under this, afterwards, I will give you an hint that how about development planning is happening and where climate change is integrating or considered. And last two slides will be like this: our assessment, is Bangladesh is ready for the integration, or what is the reality right now in Bangladesh. And maybe the last one will be the recommendation, but it will be very much open. So, okay. Actually, in Bangladesh case, our structure is just a conceptual framework that at the national level, our government has a plan that is called 5-year plan, which is almost similar like India and other countries. And at the middle, we have a district budget system, and at the end, we have a local government, we have a national local government budget, so on. But according to our theoretical aspect, the national plan and the local plan should be integrated and connected. But the reality is that there is no connection in between. And here, RIUD project, that is a resilience and inclusive urban development project of that Rodney is working there. They are working at the ground with the local government to improve their capacities. And SSLDB project that I am working with, working on the whole as a national and the local government, how the national and local plan can be integrated. And based on that, I am going to the next slide. This is the thing that this is one of our challenge for countries, that how that national plan are integrated to the local plan. This slide, it's a bit complicated, but I will make it simple. Here you may find some abbreviations. If you don't understand, please write it in the message box, and I will elaborate more. First of all, in Bangladesh case, we are having a Bangladesh government having a long-term plan, like a for 20 years long-term plan. They call it the perspective plan. It is prepared by Ministry of Planning. And also we have a midterm plan, which is called 5-year plan that you saw in the previous slide. And in the 5-year plan, the national government considered all the SDGs goals here, and they fit in there, and they prepared the plan accordingly. And afterwards, it is proposed, not clear yet, the sector plan we have, and it is very new. And in this new 5-year plan, that is right now Bangladesh is running on a 7th 5-year plan, and under this 7th 5-year plan, they mentioned they want to have a sector plan. They divided the sectors, divided all the sectors into 14 different sectors, and they want to develop all the sectors plan. And afterwards, the sectors considered as all the sector ministries should prepare their project proposals or their technical project proposals like this, and considering what is mentioned in the sector plan. And according to their proposals, development investment proposals, they should include it in the national budget, which is called annual development program of the government, and it should be linked with the sector plan and the 5-year plan. And accordingly, the sector ministries got the allocation, and they distribute or use it with their line ministries at the ground. And if you see in the last second row, the local government institute, we have different types of local government institute, and they are also working or providing a lot of services and infrastructure development. But these line ministries and the local government ministries are not always properly linked. And here you can see, I just zoom it out from the local government side, from the Minister of Planning side. The local long-term plan have this tire. If you see the right side on your screen, the long-term plan, mid-term plan, and annual plan are linked with the investment projects. And this investment projects goes to the one of the line ministries, like the Ministry of Local Government. This Ministry of Local Government actually the parent ministry of our local government institutes, and a lot of other sector ministries. They also do a lot of development activities, but without getting concerned or without involve the local government institutes. And if you see the dotted line here, I mentioned, though it's there, the hierarchy like this, our local government, one of the district, the upazilas and the unions, but these are not, their development initiatives are not aligned always. And according to our local government structure and according to the Local Government Act of different levels, they have a mandate that they can make a budget for them. They can get the finance from them, and they obviously can do the planning, and they can use their own local resources for their development activities. And I am showing like this. And obviously for the municipality level and the city corporation level, it is according to the Local Government Act that they can do the master plan for them, and they can do the development initiatives and so on. And obviously they can spend their own money for their development purpose. But reality is that most of the local government institutes are very much dependent on the central government, and they are dependent on the central government projects, initiatives, and project support, especially the external project support. And here I am coming to show that how this long-term plan and the national plan and the local plan are linked, and where our SSMDP project and RIOD project are working with. As you saw before, that we have government has a vision, and in that vision they have a long-term development framework, and they have a mid-term national framework which is called 5-year plan, and all these plans are also aligned with our all 17 SDGs and 169 targets. And as I told you that as Bangladesh government is planned to prepare the sector action plan, and through the SSLDB project, we are supporting our partner planning commission to prepare 2 sector action plans. One is the climate change and environment, and another one is an urbanization and sector action plan. And these are will be one of the products from our side. And also, for the annual development program, that from that where the investment projects or development project proposals are linked, are aligned, and here we are supporting our planning commission partner to prepare or develop one of the tools which is called climate check tool. It will check that whether the investment projects are climate proof or not, and according to the check tool, planning commission will select their investment projects for approval or not. And from RIOD and SSLG side, we are also working with the local development plans. Those have the local development plans, how that local development plans will be integrated or linked with this all other national plans, especially the sector plans and the ADP and so on. And here RIOD is giving a lot of trainings to the local government institute staff to understand how the project can be prepared and in considering the climate change issues and how this project will be implemented in better way. If you see that whether Bangladesh is ready or not for this integration, as I told you that Bangladesh is now currently following 7th 5-year plan, and in the 7th 5-year plan they have mentioned several times that they want to do it. They want to integrate national plan with the local development plan. And I'm just highlighting some of the parts here. What is the most important highlighted part in the 7th plan? One thing they mentioned that developing planning and budgeting capacities at the local level and to help design and implement local level programs. And another one is that the LGIs will have their annual and 5-year plan aligned with the national planning goals and strategies for spending resources, which is allocated from the national level and also from the local level. And the planning commission will help them in how to prepare the local plan, what should be the necessary support to prepare the plan. All the national, and another one is that all the national plans should consider the socio-economic development projects implemented locally will be integrated with the local plan. And the plans should be prepared in a participatory way so that local level voice should be heard at the national level. However, if you see that what is the reality in Bangladesh case, and here RIOD and SSLD projects are working to improve that things. One of the observations from our side, we found that there is a huge policy gap for taking local level plans in the national plans consideration. Another one, we found there is an inadequate linkage to the center level planning or budgeting system. If you see my second slides of the linkage, that linkage is very much inadequate, is not properly linked. Another one, we found that resource constraints to implement the local level, though it is their mandate to raise their local resource from the local level, but local government are not fully well equipped to mobilize or to generate their resource from their local sources. Another one is a lack of understanding and capacity at both the national level and local level, how to prepare, how to do the plan, how to implement the plan. And the financial authority of LGIs is very much low because they are under the ministry, and that they cannot go or cannot take any decision which is not in line with the ministry, and ministry has a strong role to use their finance properly. And obviously, there is another problem we found that highly politicized regarding development initiatives. Most of them, that member of parliaments or the political leaders are giving their priority and to select the projects. It is considered their voice is heard always. And another one, we found that special planning is completely missing at the ground level. There is in Bangladesh case, the special planning at the local level is not practiced well. And there is some piecemeal efforts, but that efforts are not integrated properly and in a harmonized way. And share of local government institutes to national development budget is inadequate. Always, Bangladesh government, when prepare the budget, they just consider the national resources, the local resources, and local shares was not considered and not reflected in our national budget. Considering that this reality, this is just proposal. I'm not sure that whether this will be implemented later on or not, but it is government vision as well that to make national plan to local plan integrated and considered as the integrated planning. And that is the link I mentioned, flowchart I'm mentioning, that the future prospect could be like this. Like a national development plan should consider the district development plan as well as the city development plan, and it will be a vice versa. And the Upazila development plan also link with the union development plan as well as from bottom to top, it will be goes up to top. And the municipal level also like this, that city and municipal development plan also will be linked with the national plan and as well as the local plan. And it is this is very much optimistic, and it is not practiced yet, and it is just a proposal. It could be a good solution for Bangladesh case. I think this is my last slide. Okay, thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you, Mohammed. That is a fantastic plan that you have actually developed, and you're looking at integrating and mainstreaming climate change issues all the way to the local development plans, and even have a climate checklist. That really sounds fantastic. Of course, there will be issues today, but I don't think they're not handleable. But that's my opinion. So, but without more ado, I would straight away jump into discussion. And there are some interesting questions that have been already asked for Chutima's presentation. So there is a question from Anwar Khan. He says, any best practice and experience of climate change interventions connect with the revenue collection and urban finances in both countries? So this is for both of you. So would you first, Chutima, and then maybe Mohammed, answer this question?
Hello. Okay. Sorry, Vaishali, I was just away from the meeting. Could you repeat the question again?
Okay. So the question is also there in the chat. It's from Anwar Khan. So he's looking at any best practice and experience of climate change interventions, which is connected with revenue collection and urban finance in either Thailand or Bangladesh. So if you have something like that, where you have looked at finances and revenue collection.
Okay, thank you very much. So in terms of revenue with climate change, I don't think we are touch on this topic that far, but we have some project working on climate finance. We working on Ministry of Finance in terms of budgeting, because when Ministry of Finance they want to allocate budget to our ministry, they need like the budget code. So that project, that UNDP project, they try to promote, or they try to support on the climate change project budget code, so that if they have the budget code for climate project, so all offline agency can apply for financial support from the ministry. But in terms of revenue, I don't think we have that kind of activity in Thailand, as far as I know. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Anwar. From Bangladesh case, we can say that from RIOD project, this project is working with 5 different municipalities. Some are big, some are small. But one of the main focus is that to improve their budgetary system, and their budget finance system can be used in the climate affected people. And in that case, they have developed a lot of tools which they call participatory development tools. They developed, which is applied in some of the slum areas in that selected Purosabhas. And from that discussion, they have identified some schemes, and those schemes was implemented or financed by the municipalities fund. And in that way, this somehow is working under this project.
Okay, thank you, both of you. So the next question is from Maria, and she's talking about for the Thailand project about adult learning approaches during implementation of the training phase. And what was that approach about?
Okay, so the adult learning approach is like when we provide the training for the participants, we thought that they are not students, so they have some experiences based on their job, their routine. So we have to consider that, okay, every time when we provide them with the input, we need to like let them express their knowledge by doing some activity that we provided after our input, and then let's discuss with them, come into the point that we agreed upon on that topic. There's nothing wrong, nothing right, but just let them like share the experiences. Yeah.
Okay. So till there are some more questions. I have one of my own. For the implementation of the plan, how did you manage such, this will be for Thailand, such good stakeholder involvement? Because it's a large base that you have worked on, and it would be really interesting to understand this.
So let me answer first. Yeah, in terms of implementation of the plan, so we got the feedback from the participant that when we provide the training with 17 provinces and 32 municipalities, we invited the representative from provincial environmental office, because the main partner that the asset work, we work with Office of National Resources and Environment, in which is under Ministry of National Resources. So we thought that the provincial national resources could be kind of the support agency for us. So we just invite them to provide the training and to develop the climate change action plan. But at the end of the training, they provide some feedback for us that, in fact, in terms of implementation in the province or even in the municipality, they need to involve with governor. They need to involve with the structure of Ministry of Interior, in which at that time we didn't consider that. But right now, this time when we got the new project, when we want to prepare the training for 60 provinces, we consider to involve Ministry of Interior to be part of our training. Yeah, but it's still challenge. Work like cross ministry is still many things to do. Yeah, still challenge.
Okay, so you would say involvement of local representatives and ministerial officers was the key to the success of the training, if I understand correctly.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So there's another question for you. You mentioned that about, and this is from Rashid. You mentioned about 2 years training program for municipal staff or regional staff or provincial staff. Who are the trainers in those cases? Have you considered or conducted any TOT for them, or what in your view is to make this sustainable, meaning what is the approach you're following?
Okay, so the 2-year training, actually we contract the national service provider, the company that know the exact technical style. They know the learning process. They know how to use with the pin board, come up with the color code of the flip chart and so on, and card. So we contract this company to provide the training. But in terms of sustainability, okay, of course, we build capability of private sector of the company, but we also consider that for this phase, for this 3 years project, we consider to build capacity of maybe like the provider. We have been thinking to contact Department of Environmental Quality Promotion to provide the TOT training for them, so that they will be able to be the service provider to provide the training. And at the end of the project, they can also take the training module to like take over that training module. But this is just the starting point. We just have to discuss with them if it's possible or feasible. Yeah. But another option we also consider to use the service of GISA training hub in Thailand. But if compared in terms of sustainability, I would consider the to build capacity of the national agency. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Sutima. I'm not sure, but Charlie, I cannot hear you anymore. So Vaishali was having problems being kicked out, so maybe I continue. Hope you can hear me. There is one comment question to Bangladesh from Maria from Philippines again. The top-down, bottom-up planning setup that is being proposed for Bangladesh is noteworthy. However, is the legal framework of the country ready for this? There seems to be more need for strengthening local governments in terms of authority and financing capabilities. They are important considering that climate impacts are localized and would therefore need local actions. Yeah, maybe Istuk, you want to comment on that?
Yes, some comments and something. Actually, thank you, Maria. This is very interesting and very important question. From the question part, what I found that is the legal framework of the country ready for this. That is really a tricky question. That how our country is ready for what. But according to our constitution, it is mentioned that every plan should have linked with each tier. That means local government and the central government should have a properly linked. But the reality is that it is not well practiced and it is not well connected. And most of the authority, most of the autonomy, and most of the decisions are taken at the top level, and at the local level it is just imposed. And that's why the local government has very limited say in their development activities. And other thing that you mentioned that seems to be very good for stable local. Yes, local government strengthening is one of the important agenda for Bangladeshis. Nowadays, some municipalities, especially big cities, showing their strength in terms of their financial strength, and some development initiatives are started from their own funds, but it is a kind of 2% or 5% of total municipality system. But that is good that these municipalities are moving ahead. But there is some problem regarding these legal obligations, especially they are very much dependent or very much depend on their line ministries. If their ministry is very strong, and they actually will always supersede their decisions. And according to the ministry's rules of business, they can they can fire their mayors at their any legal notice. So mayors or head of that ministry are always in a fear that how long they can continue, or if they can go opposite of, they can go against any decision of the ministry, then how can he how he can sustain in his position or her position. That is one of the very much problematic situation at the local level. But local climate impact localizing these issues are now happening, but it is very slowly moving. In GIZ, we are having two projects. One is RIOD projects and another is urban migration project is running there, and they also have some lot of experience from their side, but it is not enough right at this moment. Maybe some more initiative needs to be considered. Thank you.
And maybe Chutima, if you could also talk about. So there's a question from Felix. I think Mohammed, you've more or less answered it, and for Chutima maybe what Felix says is based on the observation that the vertical integration in both cases is a top-down process. What are the chances of policy uptake from above? Could the NDC process be used as a vehicle to formulate national urban policies enabling local governments to act upon climate change?
Okay, let me try to answer, but I'm not sure if my answer is the right one or not. In fact, when we work with 17 provinces and 32 municipalities, of course, we also work top down because we take the climate change master plan, target to break down into provincial and municipality target as well. But in terms of develop the project, and when the grassroots, the province and the municipal, they develop the project, we got also some feedback to the national level. So let's say we work both top down and bottom up. So in this case, I see the possibility that we can work bottom up. But in terms of NDC, I'm not sure, since NDC you have to come up with some national target, right? And it has to be covered in certain sector. So I'm not sure how much that you frame in the sector. For example, in Thailand, when we talk about the energy sector, of course we consider mainly from the industrial sector on the energy, but if we talk about from the bottom up, from the grassroots, I see it's not that high contribution from the bottom up to contribute to NDC, but in some other sector that could also be possible. And actually, I just would like to share to you that right now in Thailand we just start the Thai-German climate program, in which the overall framework is about the support of the NDC implementation in sector. We have worked with water sector, energy, agriculture, and overall climate change policy. And of course, in this sector, we also work with subnational, because we hope that from the contribution from subnational could somehow reflect to the NDC. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Chutima. Mohammed, would you like to add something to this?
Yes, but I'm also not sure that whether this will be a proper answer or not, because regarding this NDC's process, yes, obviously it will be good, but Bangladesh case is different. Already, I just share one example that our urban policies have been prepared almost 7-8 years before. Only but it is not endorsed or finalized from the government side yet, and I'm not sure that in the reality how these things will be included and can be used in the act. That I'm not sure yet.
Okay, no problem. But I think we are all struggling with this particular question that you are. Thank you for this answer, both of you. Teresa Keber has a question for Thailand. Do you have a good example for a climate change action plan? I would like to know more about the scope of such a plan in Thailand.
Okay, thank you. Actually, we have worked with 17 provinces and 32 municipalities. So I finally tell you that we have both good example and both some challenge that still need to be improved. But of course, we got some action plan that reflect the direction of the climate implementation together with the development direction in the province. Yeah, But like, how can I share you? Should I like send the file or should I summary the action plan? I'm not sure because it's quite like almost 50 action plans, and I'm not so sure if I still remember well on the detail of the action plan.
So, Chutima, it would be good maybe if you have a basic template of what exactly should be there in a good action plan, and one or two plans that you feel are good, you could circulate to us and we could circulate to everybody, or you could just upload if you have it readily available and people can download. So whichever is easier for you. Otherwise,
Okay.
Lucy can circulate it with the announcement that when we circulate this presentation also.
Okay, so would that be okay that I try to summary because it's all in Thai, so I just take the main topic and I just summary with you maybe like 1 page or 2 pages in A4, and then I send to you maybe Vaishali or Lucy so that you can circulate.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Yes, it will be very helpful for all of us. Yes, and in English, summary in English and not Thai, as Lucy says. But I think we are coming almost to the close of our time here. Would there be any more questions? I had one small query maybe from Mohammed to say, what is the readiness exactly on integration? Because this approach that you do say that is Bangladesh ready for integration, but what would be your reality? Also, you did present in very much detail. But how much time would you think such a process would take if you really went about that? You are doing it, but
Shall I answer?
yes, please.
Okay, thank you, Vaishali. Yes, this is very rightly pointed out that how much ready Bangladesh is. That it is my observation regarding the readiness of Bangladesh. The willingness from the political side and from the government side, and I will say the bureaucrat side, they are now having understand that they need this vertical and horizontal integration is needed. As you know, that Bangladesh is going to be a developing country by 2021, and they have a mission, and they realize it that if they want to achieve it, they have to make a proper plan or implement it and distribute the resource and collect the resource from different regions properly. And that is one of the big mindset, I think, that was not happened before or 10 years before. And regarding the policy documents, I would say that I already presented that in the 7-5-year plan, it is mentioned, and policymakers have realized that this is needed, and from the government side, the central side, they want to support it at the local ground. And on the other way around that local government side, almost most of the municipalities or big cities has their plan. And already our another like the districts and upazilas, that is the regional context, they are also have their 5-year plans which are readily available almost, but these things are not linked with this, and the way what will be the method to link it, it is not clear. And our project is actually working on it. But in terms of time, what you mentioned, yes, our project will be end by this year, at the end of this year. Maybe if government can take it as a lead and they can continue it, hope maybe within soon. I cannot give you a timeline or time frame that I when, but it can be done very soon. But a lot of institutional reform is required for this, obviously, and that will be a main challenge for the government side, and how much reform they are like to do. Thank you, Vaishali.
Okay, thank you so much, Mohammed. We really look forward with a lot of curiosity on how both Thailand and Bangladesh really complete their processes. Thailand for actually managing to upscale to 60 provinces, and how and what you really do there, and for Bangladesh on how far you go into this integration. Even if till the end of the year, it would really be interesting for us to know where you reached. And I would like to thank all the participants for their umpteen questions. And with this, we come to the end of today's webinar. Thank you so much, everybody, for being there. Bye-bye. So, Lucy, do you have some instructions?
Yeah, no, thank you, everybody. Just 2 comments. We will circulate the presentations and the recordings, and also any other materials that Bangladesh and Thailand colleagues might want to share. And just to inform you, in the second week of April, we will continue with a second webinar also on the topic of climate change and integration into policies, and we will let you know and invite you